Adderall, right there is the brand name. Under this, in the preferences, under recording, there's a little spot here that says input, and if I click and select, see, it can see that the Adderall UA101 is right there. And it's set to 44, just like the front there.
How are people going to know what an Adderall box is?
You can call it the USB digitizer, the analog to digital converter box. But you can use the, I mean, if I was, doing this step, and this is the unit that we had in our company, you'd want to specify that that's the item they're supposed to look for when you make the screenshot. Under input, select Adderall UA100, and that's going to be right there in the list.
Can you use like actual pictures, like if we took a picture of that,
yep,
with the camera or something?
Sure, that'd be great. But you're going to be wanting to do screenshots. Like, let's say, for example, I click and hold this, and I've got that list right there. Command Shift and Control 4 gives me a Shift and Control and 4. Come on. Command Shift 4.
I was trying to do it earlier and it wouldn't do it for some reason.
No, we must have done something to your computer box there, Lawrence.
No.
This Command Shift 3 works.
Lawrence might have turned off his
No.
thing. At any rate, we're making a screenshot of this. And what I want to do is click over here on this tab for recording. And we'll track 1. And we also, but we changed in the preferences, we also have to change this input here too. So recording input to Adderall. And then Brad, do you want to start the record for us?
Sure.
So turn to 33. Yep, and arms up, so just move it generally into the middle, doesn't matter where.
Is it going to fall on there? I do it wrong?
Fail.
Yep, lift it back up with that. Now, gently move it over on top of the record. There you go. Bring that down. Okay. Now down here on the amplifier, move that switch in the upper right over to phono.
This one or this one?
Upper right.
Upper right.
Move, turn that to the left. Okay. So we can see, you see the green lights on the Adderall. And what I need to do is, I've got it selected for track 1 here. But over in this, I've got to click on the R for arm on track 1. So now track 1 is armed for recording.
What'd you switch?
This little button right here that says R. And now I can see that my signal's coming in.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You know that you do that, like the way on there,
Yeah.
the sample rate. Is that KBS or whatever? Or it's like when you like download a song, it's like 256 or 320. It's a lower number.
No.
Quality or something. Or
Not really. That's kilobits per second. And that has, I mean, yes and no. It has to do with the amount of information that's coming per second, but it's not the sampling rate. It's corresponding to that, but what that's talking about is the data rate. But the higher the number, the more stuff you've got.
I'm just wondering, because I noticed when you first start off like iTunes or whatever, it's set at kind of like a really low rate, when you import music or whatever. It doesn't sound very good. If you raise it up or whatever.
Yeah. It's got let's get ourselves back to the beginning here. So now, here's my question. If you watch these signal meters, do they increase? Do they increase or decrease with this knob right here?
No, they don't.
Decrease, yep. Increase.
No, they don't. That's just the music. That's just the amplitude that you're changing. No,
Oh.
Right.
Same.
don't change.
So the signal strength going from this to the computer is not affected by this volume. This volume here is just driving these speakers. The signal strength is going to be these two right here. And as I turn these down, you can see the signal is less. And if I bring these way up,
So you don't want it to be red, right?
you don't want it to be, but you do want it to be up there between 6 and 0. So now once you have that set, and these different items are going to be louder or softer. So the cassette is going to be different than the 8-track, which is different than the vinyl. So you're going to have to adjust those little dials on the 1 and 2 on the Edirol. So now let's say I've got it right, this is where we want to record. Then down here on this bottom edge, this red dot right here, where it says record, I press this, and you can see this red line coming here, the signal's coming in. So I'm going to stop this.
Wow.
And Brad, why don't you just
turn it
lift?
off, or-
No, just lift the arm up with the. Yep. So now, if I go backwards with that and play it. So it's recorded into the computer.
That's the future.
That's the we're
Yeah.
living in the future. It sounds a little bit different, doesn't it? And you know, this stereo might have some different things on the bass versus these little speakers and what we've got for balance on this. But now it's in the computer, and I can select it, and I can process it,
So
and I can do all kinds of stuff to it.
So you took part of that and turned it into computer?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you would like to make a special surprise for your parents, borrow one of their albums or cassettes, come here and make them a CD, that'd be pretty cool.
Can I borrow one of Matthew's?
No. You can do it to practice, yep. If you've got a vinyl or an 8-track of your parents or an older brother, and
A couple of really good cassette ones and my parents took away.
yep.
See, your parents took away? They threw it away. They didn't even look at it. Messed up.
Can we scratch on that?
No, you cannot scratch on that. But the other thing that you can do is in the back audio room, there's about 100 albums on the shelf. It's about this thick of all kinds of crazy stuff from the 60s and 70s.
I'm sure they're all your collection, right?
And they're Randy Faints, so I am not going to be held responsible for Foghat and the other people in that list. Okay?
I don't know, I didn't touch it.
Lucas, you got this all figured out? Yeah. Oh, boy.
So someone's supposed to be able to tell how to do this just by our notes? Like
Yep.
Your job to explain it, though. I mean, you have to look it up.
But that's the first part. Now, you have to export it from Soundtrack Pro, put that file into iTunes, make a playlist, and make a
That's smaller.
CD.
CD.
And you have to convert it into MP3 format. Right?
Not necessarily, no.
Format, like,
What's that?
like how we said MP3. You choose
No.
MP3.
No, you don't have to convert it to MP3. In fact, what would be the best way to convert this that it's going to go to See, you want to open up, send files to iTunes when you're done. Probably AAC podcast is a pretty good format. It could be MP3.
WMA.
Only thing is you
WMA, a WAV file.
can't burn a playlist unless
Yeah,
it's in
wave.
MP3.
Well, it converts it when it puts it into.
Does it?
iTunes.
AAC? I
Yeah.
tried it and it didn't work.
Really? Oh, well,
When you try to burn like it says these are not
well, it might be a digital rights management. Might be a DRM rather. I'm trying to think. I think you can experiment. I don't know if you have to do.
The lights.
I know MP3 will work, and I know AAC will work. Let's see if AIF works. Send to iTunes. AIF? No, that's not working. How about MP3? Oh, I gotta give it a name. Test.
I got it on phone.
Desktop.
Did you record it?
No.
That's a note right there.
Huh?
That's a note right there.
See your white jacket is just roll. You go on the chain,
So here's our file. File name test.
Cool.
Come on. 13 seconds. Are you going to play for us? Play test. No, didn't like it. Let's go back to
Test
export.
Corrupt audio.
It's not playing, is it? I didn't want to use my feet. You're welcome.
I tried to send it into. So the MP3 seems like the best format that went into iTunes. Yeah, this one doesn't seem to want to play the AIF, so MP3 is the best export that we found to go directly into
Now,
iTunes.
did you import it or did you just drag it in there or does it matter?
From Soundtrack Pro,
You can
export.
to
It says here's one of our things. After export, send files to iTunes, and it
it's easy.
put it right into the music library, as well as saving it to the desktop.
Oh, so it's saved to the desktop.
Save it to the desktop. You got that on the top half here, but it's the after export. Remember, on the other thing we had after export was send files to Final Cut Pro. If we have Final Cut Pro open, this is send to iTunes, send to Logic, send to Motion. Those are all different options after you've exported it. Isn't this fun?
Yeah.
Are you gonna make a mixtape for Mrs. Eddie tonight?
That for the ladies. We have to do Barry White. Yep. That would be good. So, go through the albums, look at home, find some stuff, bring it in